If you watched 2009's Joker movie and you couldn't figure out the whole paternity issue, stay tuned. I am prepared to solve that problem. Hey family members, I'm Megan, and welcome to the Fangirl, a web series that still believes Harley Quinn is just faking crazy. But that point is neither here nor there because Harley Quinn isn't even in the Joker movie. And I know you're all big kids watching, so I don't need to clarify this, but obviously I will have to reference points from the movie to explain this theory. So if you clicked on a video covering a movie you've never seen, and then you want to go in the comments and complain about spoilers, you better go point that rage in a mirror or at your parents for raising a dummy. I don't care where it goes, but it can't stay here. Anyways, the movie uses this weird plot point where Arthur Fleck, which is the Joker's real name now, doesn't have a father. Hold on though, to be fair, I do want to point out that Arthur Fleck is his name in this universe, but this movie is not connected to the DCEU, the Killing Joke, anything previously Batman, nothing. It's its own little self-contained bubble. But Arthur's mother Penny keeps writing letters to Thomas Wayne, who used to be her boss, and who you may rightfully suspect is the father of Bruce Wayne, our future Batman. Well, Penny is secretly claiming that Thomas is Arthur's real father, and she's flat out begging Thomas to look out for Arthur after she dies. What makes it kind of weird is that Mama has kept this secret from Arthur his entire life, but then once Arthur reads one of the letters, she comes out saying, oh, they were so in love, but Thomas couldn't be with Penny because of her social standing. Because it's 19th century UK or something? What? It all sounds horribly sad, but when Arthur goes to meet Thomas, he doesn't end up getting the warm welcome he expected. Instead, dear old dad says he never had any kind of romantic relationship with Penny Fleck, and that she was actually a mentally ill person who adopted Arthur as a baby. And that encounter does come off really harsh in the movie, but if you flip the perspective and look at it from Thomas Wayne's side, here he is out on the town after making a very public declaration that he's running for mayor, and suddenly here's this creepy middle-aged dude claiming to be your son. I mean, wouldn't that make you feel like you're being set up by one of your political rivals? So I totally get where Thomas Wayne would be annoyed and even snappy, but he was very quick to throw out that, oh, you don't know the truth card. And when Arthur goes back to talk to his mother, she says that's all a bunch of lies. Penny claims that Thomas Wayne is so rich and powerful that he faked documentation so that Arthur could never be linked back to him. And the movie ends without ever settling this issue, which I suspect was something the writers did by choice, because then you get people debating the answer instead of a boring yes or no, and that's where crazy people like me come in. I am not a professional psychiatrist, but I have a lot of relatives with mental illnesses, and I have studied psychology, especially in terms of film. So from a film studies perspective, when you really look at Penny Fleck and how she acts and what she does, I do think she's delusional. She has this fantasy life in her head that Thomas Wayne is this godlike figure who can fix all of her problems if she can just get his attention. Penny is sick. She's dying, and she's getting desperate to find her son a happily ever after by any means necessary. Penny knows that once she's dead, there is no one left to look after Arthur. However, there are two important things to note about delusional people. One is that a disorder like this can be brought on by stress, and it does sound like Penny was put under a lot of stress while working for Thomas Wayne, and maybe working under him as well, if you get what I mean. So it's not at all impossible that Penny Fleck went crazy because Thomas Wayne turned off the charm and started treating her like the disposable help that she was. And two, Arthur is shown to be heavily medicated and delusional as well, even though his mother is very supportive and loving. Now, it's not that two people can't be independently delusional, but for both of them to be in the exact same boat, it sounds more like a hereditary issue. And yes, there is medical evidence out there to suggest that things like delusional disorders can be hereditary. So the fact that Arthur and Penny are both delusional seems to suggest that they're blood related, not a mother and an adoptee. I mean, my observation isn't a blood test, but come on. What are the chances that Penny would adopt a baby with conditions so similar to her own? And furthermore, if Penny was delusional when she was younger, who would adopt a baby to her? And it's true that Arthur makes up a relationship with his neighbor, so it's possible that Penny did the same thing with Thomas, except Penny doesn't say anything about it publicly. exactly. She's not seeking legal action. She didn't spend years trying to extort or blackmail Thomas Wayne for money. Heck, she didn't even want Arthur to know. Not because she was ashamed, but because they agreed to keep their relationship a secret. Penny doesn't want anything unreasonable from Wayne. She just doesn't want her son to suffer alone and penniless after she's gone. And if this were truly something that she had made up in her head, she'd still be talking about it to anybody who would listen, including her own son. Hey, Thomas Wayne and I used to be lovers. He's your father. Don't tell anybody though. We're not allowed to talk about it. But Penny doesn't, because she knows that having that information would only upset Arthur more about his own life. So Penny's not a bad person, and she's not really crazy in a bitter, angry, spiteful kind of sense, meaning overall, I don't get the impression that she's lying. Another interesting tidbit is that there is no second father candidate in the movie. By the confines of the movie, Penny Fleck loved Thomas Wayne and only Thomas Wayne her entire life. No one else ever got close to her heart again. And if the writers wanted to raise a proper is he or isn't he, there should have been an old boyfriend or a dead husband or some male figure in Penny's story that would make us question things. They didn't even have to cast somebody. They could have just wrote a line like, oh, I loved my boyfriend Mark Hamill, but we were never together like that. You know, anything to show us that Penny Fleck didn't fixate her entire life on Thomas Wayne's revoked love. As it stands, the only thing to raise doubt as to whether or not Thomas Wayne sired Arthur is Thomas's own word, which is going to be slanted to what he wants. Not to mention, Wayne is sort of the villain in the Joker movie. Even though the Joker is an anti-hero, we still see the whole film from his perspective, so we sympathize, we understand, and we kind of get how he can rally a group of people to spark change in a city that's failing them. They're the rebels, and even though the word rebel has a negative connotation to it, the funny thing is that a rebel can be good or bad depending on the narrative. Let's say we're looking at a teacher's strike. The school's gonna say the teachers are greedy and lazy and they don't want to do their job, but from the teacher's perspective, they're overworked, underpaid, and they've had enough of being bullied by the district. And oftentimes, who we sympathize for depends on what we hear first. So in terms of the film Joker, Arthur isn't the bad guy. However, Thomas Wayne is not only a jerk, he actually goes on TV to defend the murder of 3 rapey thugs. And we're never shown a single second to make us like Thomas Wayne at all. He's very two-dimensional, where he's entitled, spoiled, privileged, tactless, and exactly the type of person who could fake documents to make a little whoops of a baby disappear. So if Thomas Wayne is our villain in this movie, that's definitely the most villainous thing he could have done. He might as well have shot himself with that bad attitude. Of course, I can't prove anything, so I'll open the floor for discussion. What are your thoughts on this matter of who Arthur Fleck's father really is? It might not be reality, but theories are more fun. Well, family members, we're almost done, but I want to invite you to hang out with me in some other places. I'm on Twitter and Instagram as my own personal self, and I have a Facebook page too, but I mostly just post photos over there. And sometimes people say, hey McGann, I want to mail you something. How do I do that? Easy. Just click the About tab on my channel page, and my most current P.O. Box info will be right there. I also run another channel, The Family. It's really a hodgepodge channel where we might post anything. Oh yeah, and I also sell shirts and stickers and stuff with the Family and the Fangirl logos. If that is your cup of tea, I have a link in every description of every video. Finally, if you want to help out the Fangirl channel and make sure I'm putting out video essays for years to come, the best way you can help is by subscribing and watching more of my videos, whether they're new, old, whatever. Maybe even share 1 or 2 on social media, help spread the word. People who watch to the end of videos like you helps to tell the site, hey, this is a good video, we should recommend it to other people. So if you made it this far, leave me a comment of something like, hey, I made it to the end. Love ya. See you next time, family members. Bye.